Yo, Jamel here. So I've been interested in canceled games for quite some time. The idea of what could have been and alternate timelines always finds a way to ignite my imagination. Because of this, I've been working quietly on a series of canceled video game videos I hope to release, until I run out of interesting games. But before we get started, I want to say that I will link all of my sources in the description, and most of this information is just summarized from N64, who does amazing work archiving these lost games. So please go support them so we can keep this history alive. Alright, now that's all out of the way, this week we're going to look at 5 amazing canceled games for the Nintendo 64 and the Nintendo 64DD. Cabbage was a pet breeding and raising simulator game in development for the N64DD by the creator of the Earthbound series, Shigesato Itoi, the producer of the Pokemon series, Tsunekatsu Ishihara, and the big Nintendo man himself, Shigeru Miyamoto. The title would have shared many aspects with games that many are familiar with today on Nintendo consoles, such as Nintendogs and Animal Crossing. The players would have taken care of and raised a virtual pet by feeding it, playing with it, and buying it toys. The game was to feature some interesting concepts for the time, such as using the internal clock so the pet could continue to grow and change even when the player shut the game off. Also, the game would include a portable feature by utilizing a special Game Boy link cable to transfer the player's pet to the Game Boy to take care of while they were away from their console, much like a Tamagotchi pet. According to the creators, players would have been able to visit each other's virtual worlds and even share pet toys. Unfortunately, the game was supposed to have a running demo at Space World 2000, but never appeared. Miyamoto blamed the busy schedule of the other two creators at the time for the game never coming to fruition. Dragonz was an action-adventure hack-and-slash game officially announced for the Nintendo 64 by Blitz Game Studios, the creators of Glover, back in 1998. The game had very similar gameplay to the Gauntlet series, and even had split-screen co-op and a 4-player deathmatch mode. The game took place in a fantasy world called Avantaria, and had the 4 main characters, Cutter, Kalen, Goranga, and Aisha, attempting to stop the game's antagonist, an evil mage named Xerus. Dragonz had some interesting features that were uncommon in hack-and-slash titles at the time, such as dynamic weather conditions, large gameplay areas, and an RPG experience system. The game was basically completed, but due to the publisher MGM Interactive's lack of confidence in the game's selling power, they decided not to release it at all. According to N64, 64 Magazine was able to play the near-complete build of the game at the time and reviewed it with a 93% score, and even petitioned for the game's release, but as you can guess by the title of this video, it was not a fruitful endeavor. The game's 1st through 7th levels and its multiplayer modes are actually playable online now thanks to a collector sharing the beta. I will place the link in the description below for anyone interested in trying it out. Forever Dragonz was an innovative fighting game being produced and designed for the N64 by Hayden Dalton at Software Creations. The project is most notable for the fighters being able to be knocked through objects in the environments, much like the Dead or Alive series, but this was before any game had featured such concepts. Another interesting feature of the game was its wide-open arenas versus the typical ring-based arenas and other fighters of the time. The characters' fighting abilities were customizable, and Dalton wanted players to be able to bet on fights and swap custom builds of the characters. The only explanation I found for the title being scrapped was from the game's page on Nintendo64ever.com. Quote, "The ambitions of Software Creations with this game were too high for the era. The development was taking too much delay without the possibility to set a release date. It has simply been cancelled." Survivor Day 1 was an action-adventure title being developed by Konami for the N64DD and was originally announced at E3 in 1998. The game would have found the player trapped on an alien vessel attempting to, survive. The game had heavy inspiration from popular action-adventure titles of the time such as Tomb Raider, having players swim, jump, climb, and solve puzzles as they made their escape from the alien enemies aboard the ship. Konami promised the enemy AI would have been top-notch and that the aliens would have reacted realistically to the context of however the player interacted with them. Unfortunately, the game never left its beta stage, and after some management issues and due to the N64 reaching the end of its life cycle before the game could be fully developed, Konami scrapped the title completely. Originally titled Climber, Zenith was an action platformer/racing game hybrid in development by DMA Design for the Nintendo 64. DMA Design was known at the time for their development on the original GTA as well as their SNES title Uniracers, which was a highly adored racing title. Zenith was never shown to the public in any official way, but many years after the project's cancellation, we would hear from some of the team at DMA about what the game would have been had they not shut down work on the title. Zenith would have been an on-foot racing game that involved being the first to climb up vertical structures to win. Players would have been able to choose from quite a few characters, including humans and aliens, to control as they used platforming and battling, akin to Super Smash Bros., to make their way to the top of various towers. The combat involved basic punching and kicking attacks, and a special move for each character. The towers had a slew of obstacles and hazards built in for the player to overcome by either jumping, climbing, hanging, or swinging, and had unique themes like medieval or the Wild West. Unfortunately, this title was scrapped due to DMA sending the Zenith team to help on their upcoming Body Harvest title that had run into some development issues and delays.